Testing 1, 2.
This is Beach Talk Radio.
Good morning, Mr. and Mrs. America, and all ships at sea. This is your captain speaking, Mean Gene. Mean Gene. The following will be a test of the ship's whistle, the sonar alarm, the cable alarm, and the atomic attack alarm.
Live from Peach Time Out in the heart of Times Square. You're listening to Beach Talk Radio with Kim and Ed Ryan.
And a good morning, everybody, and welcome to episode number 138 of Beach Talk Radio. We are coming to you live from Peach Time Out on Fort Myers Beach, and we have a lovely day going on here at Peach Time Out. It's so nice of you to join me today, wife. It's lovely of you to jump on the show here and get in the action here. We have a great show lined up for today. Let me see if your microphone's on.
Okay.
What did you have to eat?
You
got it all over your lips? You didn't wipe your face off or anything?
I did too. I had an egg sandwich. It
all
was
right.
very, very good.
A big shout out to everyone who's joined us since we started the show, and that includes our sponsors, Island Oils LLC.com, where you can
Kind of loud.
where you can get your bug repellent right now. We'll tell you more about them later. And Fort Myers Tiki Tours, and of course Peach Time Out. Our other sponsors, including Nervous Nelly, JPS Vacation Rentals, Wave of Vitality, State Insurance USA, Mango-Ritas, Sun Palace Vacation, Laola Restaurant, Tuckaway Cafe, and Blue Ribbon Events. And the Mermaid Festival is taking place today, and that's going on down at Lover's Key. And we have more giveaways coming up. So you're going to want to stay tuned for that. You're going to want to stay tuned for our second half of the show, which includes Big Mama from B103.9, who's he's a little less big now because he lost a ton of weight. And he's launched the Bravery Network, which is all about veterans. So he's coming up at 9:30. And then at 10 o'clock, we're going to check in with Daddy O so he can do a little gloating if he wants to, because
I have not talked to him since all of this started, which is surprising.
Right.
Can you move over a little bit?
All righty. And so we're going to give him a chance to talk about the election. Well, it's not officially over yet, but, we kind of think it's over. Looks like Joe Biden might get 300 electoral votes. And if you think the mask mandate is a big deal down here, you wait until January 21st, when it's going to be total lockdown and you're going to be forced to stay in your house. The economy's going to close down and it's going to be anarchy. That's all coming up January 21st. Otherwise, what they're going to have to pry Donald Trump off the refrigerator in the White House kitchen, because he's not going without a fight.
I think there's going to be fingernail marks.
Our first guest is already here. Look at that. You ready to rock and roll, Megan? Or are you? We're ready. Our first guest is one of our favorite guests of all time. And this time we guarantee the mic. What are you laughing at? The microphone is going to worse.
The guest of all time.
Last time we were here, we were still outside because we weren't arrested by the code Nazis.
Did you get busted by code Nazis?
I did. I got in trouble, and now I'm in timeout.
Okay.
But I deserve every bit of it. And here we are. We have a lovely indoor studio now, away from the elements, away from the beautiful elements outside. So Megan Heil is here, and we have so much to talk about. And I know you're busy today at the Mermaid Festival. What do you have set up down there?
Well, couple of things. Mermaid Fest was supposed to happen this past spring, and then because of COVID, like everything, it got canceled. So it's up right now down at Lover's Key. Right now, we have a booth right as you walk in, which is Reef Box and FMA Yoga Project, which is Renee's company, and they're doing yoga at 10 o'clock down there. And after she gets done with her yoga, I don't know if y'all know about this, on Saturday morning she does yoga, and then the Mango Street Inn, and Dan Andre does a gourmet breakfast for everybody afterwards.
At the Mango Street Inn.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't know where that is.
Mango Street.
Okay. Funny, real funny. They're even laughing over there.
He's challenged geography-wise, so you might want to give him a little.
About Mid-Island, down Tuckaway and the ice cream shop and all that right there is Mango Street.
Awesome. So who goes over there? Like everybody from the class goes over?
Yeah.
So you had class yesterday, you have class today, and class tomorrow.
I know. Right? So in our booth, we have a bunch of Reef Boxes doing the Stream to Sea products, which is all marine and reef safe sunscreens, lotions, hand sanitizer, and hair products too. And it's all marine safe and safe for us too as well.
And it's mineral based, and they have tinted stuff, so that's good if you want to have a little tinted sunscreen on your face.
We'll have the owner of Stream to Sea in the booth today talking about it, who's also the chemist who did this, who was in Palau and saw the sheen, because we don't realize how much of the sunscreen comes off of us, saw the sheen and went, this can't be good.
Right.
And did tests and found out how bad sunscreens are for our environment. So
when I get up every morning, there's sheen everywhere on the sheets.
That's between the two of you.
And it's just I need a no.
Moving on.
All right. So I really want to talk about Reef Box because it's been so long since you've been on, and I want everybody to know what Reef Box is.
Reef Box is a subscription box for scuba divers. So each month we procure some gear for above the water and below the water, and we send it out to our subscriber base. And then we have some specialty boxes like our photography box. So if you're looking to do anything underwater, or even with the snorkeling, it's a GoPro rig with some lights on it and some lanyards and stuff, so you don't lose it. You know, the worst thing you want to do is be a snorkeler and lose that rig 30 feet below you. You're going to have to come to a scuba diver.
You're going to have to hold your breath a long time.
Or find a scuba diver willing to go down there and get that, which means it's a tip involved.
So I imagine that your business was COVID proof because, I mean,
no,
it wasn't COVID proof?
My software companies were, because we sell to our software, which is for mechanical service contractors, which are air conditioning people. And they're essential workers. But Reef Box, because it is based around travel, scuba diving, and disposable income, we took a heavy hit on it. But we ended up hiring a social media manager not too long ago who's bringing us back about 10% each month. So we'll be back pretty quickly on this one.
Yeah, I noticed in covering the radio industry, March and April were the worst. And then they, the every month after that, you can't compare it to last year because it's like you'll have nightmares, but every month seems to be getting a little bit better.
Yeah, well, and that's the same with the dive industry too as well. When COVID hit, we even closed down the quay. So even those dive shops could not have passengers on their boats, have scuba divers, and we all had to stay home, so nobody was traveling. And then you got to remember the rest of the world shut down, including the Caribbean and Indonesia, and all the great dive places all closed down as well. And they're now opening up, so everybody is now starting to get back to diving. So things are picking up.
So
now, what was you've been doing some diving recently?
Oh, wait, don't jump ahead like that. Don't jump ahead like that. Because
I'm trying to get a word in edgewise.
I have pictures that I'm going to pop up on the screen so everybody that's watching can see them. But
I'd love to take pictures when I'm down there.
Oh, for sure. The last question I have about the business is how can people, if they want to get involved in all of this, what should they do?
Just go to reefbox.us and subscribe. I mean, talk a little bit about the box, what we have involved in it. You do not know what's coming. That's part of the surprise of it. Have you ever seen the commercial with my dad? He's like, it's like, what is it? It's Christmas every month.
So you get a box every month.
Yeah, you get a box every month. And this month, we have some product coming in from Indonesia. It is, and we look for eco-conscious products. So this product that we have coming in, they're upcycling rubber from scooters. They're using the plastic from billboards in their product. They've 85% of this bag, I should say, is upcycled materials.
Cool.
Then also we give a little bit away to a conservation partner too as well.
somebody's going to have to figure out how to upcycle all of those lawn signs, all of those plastic lawn signs.
You mean the political signs that are everywhere?
Because
Grab a Sharpie.
I go out and pick them up. I go out and pick a lot of them up because I want this. I want the sticks. Like I always have a need, feel like I have a need for the sticks.
Well, I feel like you could make a lot of that's like PVC piping. Like you could make a lot of stuff with those things.
Piping.
Well,
It's thinner than that.
Or you just get smart about it. I've got family
There we
who are
go.
judges up in Cincinnati area, and it just says keep Winkler or Electrolink Winkler.
Why are you kicking me?
Nothing.
Did
and
I
all
say
the Winkler,
something
and that
wrong?
way there's no years on them. They just reuse them, upcycle them, keep using them,
Good
keep
idea.
using them, and then
Politicians down here aren't that smart.
no.
though, so
But that's another story.
yeah. All right. So you went diving. Was it last weekend?
Yes, I've dove probably every other weekend.
All right. So folks, check this out. I'm going to pop it up on the screen so that you can tell us about what we're looking at here.
That is the U.S. Coast Guard Dwayne. It's a 327-foot Coast Guard cutter that was sunk in the Keys. That was actually one of my first times diving that. We normally dive to Spiegel Grove, and there's something called the Wreck Trek down in the Keys where it's a series of wrecks that you can dive. And that's the Dwayne. Amazing visibility. I think you got another picture there.
But I want to ask you, how far down from the boat is that?
How far down from the surface?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The deck on that one's right between 90 and 100 feet.
Wow. So you got to go down 90 to 100 feet before you see
How long
anything.
does that take?
Going down is a lot faster than
Than
going
coming
up.
up, right?
So
right.
going down maybe takes you a good minute and a half, something like that, depending on how fast you like to get out. I have go very slowly to clear my ears, to pressurize my ears. I do it a lot, do it often, so I don't have any ear issues going up and down.
Why is going down faster than going up?
Because you cannot come up as fast because you have got gases in your lungs. You got,
Oh, is that
so-
when you crap your pants?
No,
and all
that's
that?
when you can
Get the
blow your
bends.
lung. You can
Oh.
get your bends. You have to also off gas some of the gases in your system so you don't get the bends. And
Okay. Gotcha.
there's all kinds of. But get
I
trained
just
and you do it
wondered.
safely.
So
Why do you
is the
keep
color-
kicking me?
Because I'm waiting for you. Could you want to go on? And I just want to ask is that the actual color? You know what I'm saying? Like, is that a filter? Do you have to use filters, or how does that work?
No, that is an unfiltered, untouched photo right
Okay.
there.
Wow.
That's just, and I'm probably 25 feet from him at that point in time. We're kind of swimming up to a section of it.
Look at that.
Aw.
That was a cool picture. They just swam right at me. I'm like, I got to grab that. And then they turned and I got a picture of them turning too as well.
And do you know what kind of fish those are?
I think they're pompano.
I thought the same thing. I thought, yeah, those are pompano.
I was like,
that's the thing about
What
wrecks.
the hell are they doing in Key West?
You
Though?
know, you get
Totally lost.
on the reefs, you get a lot of great colorful fish, like the parrotfish, which I love, is one of my favorite. And I'd like to describe that one by taking Play-Doh when you're a kid and mushing it all together and making a fish out of it. And you can do all different color combinations. But on wrecks, you really don't get a whole lot of colorful fish. You get groupers, you get pompano, you
what
get
about shark? Do you get
Yes, there's a bull shark on that one.
Wait. How dare you ruin my picture? Damn it.
We
The
dive
third
with sharks
picture
all the
we
time.
have, there you go, right
Yeah,
there.
that's a bull shark right there. Probably about an 8-foot bull shark. There were people actually chumming for them, probably a couple hundred yards away from the wreck, and so they brought them in, and so we got the luxury of seeing the bull sharks there.
Now,
and you don't ever have any problems with them?
how close have you ever been to a shark?
Very close. I mean, there's a dive a couple weeks ago in the Keys, which I saw the biggest nurse shark I've ever come across. It even took my breath away. I was probably 3-4 feet away from it. I mean, I tend to I assess the situation, and I'll creep up on it a little bit, take a picture, and then I creep back. Not to disturb the shark, not to get it routed, not to harass
So
the
you're
shark.
not poking it with a stick
Yeah.
like they do on the shark.
And then
Week
I back out
stuff.
of it.
So did you hear about the shark that was tagged and showed up? Was it in Key West
Winnemaki.
or okay? Yeah. It was one
And
of the biggest.
Yep. And O-Search did
great
that. And
whites.
that's one of our partners. Renee and I have been on that tagging boat last August. We were
Wow.
out on a tagging boat and watched them tag a shark called ACK, because we were off in Nantucket. So ACK for the airport code there. So we watched them tag ACK, lower the lift down, tag it, and send it on its
Yeah,
way.
and what's cool about when they tag the sharks is they track wherever they are, and they travel like it's crazy where they go.
How
Where
far they
they,
go.
Well, the idea behind that is that if they can find where the mating area is and where they give birth, they can now protect those areas
Mhm.
from fishing and protect those areas and help the population.
Oh, cool.
We need the apex predators out there to protect even the tiniest of fish. It is a balance out there, so we need those apex predators.
And
out
then
there.
apex predator is
Sharks,
that's it.
sharks,
At the top.
and the top of the top sharks. whites.
Uh-huh.
Now we had I'm just went right Ryan, or I'm gonna mess up his name, who's the director of the Sanibel
Now who's got Alzheimer's?
Captiva Conservation Fund, and he was on talking about one of his passions is saving sharks.
Yes.
That they're getting
We
to
have
be,
to save them.
yes. That it's maybe not cute and fuzzy, but
Well, they serve a couple purposes, and I think one of the bigger purposes that most don't realize is that they will feed off of some of the sicker fish out there on the reefs, hence helping keep the reef and that fish population
healthy.
healthier fish means they multiply more, and we get a healthy ecosystem out there. So they're not just the man-eating jaws.
Mhm,
Jaws was the worst thing that ever
Right,
happened
right,
for
right.
sharks.
So Debbie asks, where's the closest place to dive near Fort Myers Beach?
You got a couple of dive operations here. We got some great local dive shops. We work with Scuba Vice up the road here because they're a great group there. If you're looking to get certified, they've got a pool right there. You can do it all in-house. And then we've got a couple of great boats around here. H2O Adventure's one of them that we've dove with out here. You've got a great little trip up off of Venice Beach. You can go megalodon tooth hunting. We've done it a couple of times. And shark tooth hunting up there as well. And that's Aristocats that does that one. But for here, we sink everything. So probably the towers, which is I think is 7 miles offshore, something like that. We've got another Coast Guard cutter over here that we sunk, the Mohawk, and that's about 30 miles offshore. So you have some stuff, some cool stuff. We have tanks, we have school buses,
Tanks.
out there.
No kidding.
Yep,
Wow.
school buses.
So how
bridge
often?
sprints.
How often do you go out? Who are you waving to? How often
next
do you go out diving?
Pre-COVID, a lot more than now, but right now we'll leave out of here on Sunday morning at 5 a.m, hit a boat and come back, and we're doing that about twice a month.
Nice.
And then we're leaving for a big trip here in a couple weeks. Now
Gotcha.
that the Caribbean's opening back up.
So you have any other diving questions? Okay, so let's talk about your government responsibilities here. Megan is the chairperson of the local planning agency, which is next to the town council. It's the second most important agency that we have on the beach here, and I believe it's probably the only other agency that really has to abide by the sunshine laws. I think most of the other ones probably do, but you guys really do. I mean,
all of them have to abide by the sunshine laws. We all have to abide by that in government because that is our transparency piece.
right.
We are the only other board. We're the only board right now that's mandated by the state and has a judicial piece to it, quasi-judicial piece to it. So we do hold public hearings where you get sworn in to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So yes, we are definitely, we live by those sunshine laws, and I'm adamant we follow those to a T.
Real quick, Jim wants to know, is scuba diving good for shelling? We'll get
Good
back.
for shelling.
Yeah.
Most of the stuff you're going to find out there is alive, and you cannot take it alive.
Okay.
Even on our beach, you cannot take anything that's alive.
Nope. So
including sand dollars.
So if you see that brown sand dollar, leave it.
So for those of you that are new to the show, when Megan was on last time, I was totally harassing her to run for the town council at the time where there were seats
You're not
open.
gonna do that.
No, because there's not going to be seats open for 3 years, but she still would be an awesome town council person. But anyway, so we're glad that you're the chairperson of the LPA, and you have Forrest just joined.
Forrest Christer
Who else is on the committee?
So we have Forrest Christer, Karen Steinbeck, Scott Safford, Dan Hughes, Jane Plummer. Did I get them all? Me.
No, the newer guy.
Pat Vaness.
Cool. And you've been on that committee for a couple of years now.
I think I'm 2 re-ups plus an appointment, so I think I'm 5-6 years now.
Now, the first thing I wanted to ask you about was somehow the historical committee or a historical committee is either latched onto yours or you're responsible for it. Tell us about that.
Well, the Historic Preservation Board is your LPA. But because we have so much on our plate, we also have an advisory committee to that board. Okay. So we have a board of citizens that are part of the Historic Preservation Advisory Committee. That it's all a bunch of letters.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
that makes recommendations to the HPB.
the point I wanted to make was you're having trouble getting volunteers for that. So how can we get more or did you get it filled?
Well, it had to be a volunteer from the
Yes.
LPA.
Oh, I see.
And
So
so
Forrest is
Forrest
now
stepped
gotcha.
up.
So we have, so all of us have pretty much done some time on that board. It is remember, we're all volunteers.
Right.
Right.
And a lot of us this time around have jobs too, to take us away from, being able to cut out another 2 days a month and that type of thing. So we have struggled to get a member of our LPA to be on that board. And by enabling ordinance, we have to have somebody on there. So Forest has agreed to be on it, which means it gets rolling again. And it's a very important board. All of their work is extremely important to this island. When we talk about the island, we talk about fit, fun, funkiness, all those pieces. And that's tied very much to our history here. So we have to do what we can to preserve our history as much and as reasonably as we can.
So before we get to what you spoke about this week at the council meeting, and you don't have to answer this question. And it just popped into my mind because
is
because it's such a big story on the beach. This dune walkover thing. You can pass on it if you want. But
that's a shitstorm I don't want to step in.
All right.
We all have our opinions. We all have what's happening. And right now it's in the courts. Let that work out legally. And I'm just keep our noses out of it for now.
So one of the things that you brought up was the view, the wind, the sunlight.
View
view
corridors. Okay.
So that was for side setbacks and all of that stuff.
And height, yes.
Okay.
So most of it, you've driven down the beach, you've gone on Hickory Island, and as you're driving by, can you even tell the Gulf of Mexico is on the other side of those houses?
Right.
No.
Okay. Yeah.
So to be able to see through all that, that's view corridor. That is, we have them on the beach side, and we have them on the back bay side. And you have them on canal side. You have them anywhere that you can see water is a view. You're looking at view corridors, and then you have sunlight planes, and you've got that kind of work in conjunction with that. So one is the width beside the houses, one's the above the houses. And if you drive down Hickory and, there's not a whole lot of sunlight on that street because those houses are blocking it. And you also blocks the wind. So those are all three important environmental elements that, we all enjoy on the island.
Mm-hmm.
So protecting that's important.
So where are you? Is it not protected now? I was a little confused at what you were getting at the meeting. Like you need them to address something. What do they need to fix?
So we have everyone's seen them. It's the big block houses that the Potter builders are coming in here and building.
And I don't know what you mean when you say Potter builders. What is that?
That's the name of the company.
That's the company that pretty much built Hickory Island. And if you see one of their houses, it is every inch of side setback to every inch.
They take all the space.
They take every bit of it.
Gotcha.
And then they also.
But they're not doing anything wrong.
They're not doing anything wrong. They're not. But it's not necessarily because they're not. I will say this. I don't believe that they are members of our community to understand our community and understand our fit, feel, funkiness that we like here.
Mm-hmm.
They're coming in and they're leaving. And they're just building. And if you notice, only about a handful of them are actually lived in. They're just sitting there. And rightfully so, somebody's got money and built them. More power to them. But it doesn't fit with the community feel and the community vibe. So having a builder just come in here from out of the area building like that, what can we do to kind of try to preserve some of those pieces to our island?
Right.
And so we looked at side setbacks and we looked at height and looked at what can we do to incentivize people, not punish them, but incentivize them to build differently.
Mm-hmm.
And to put a good example of this, if you drive down the beach of what we're trying to do on the Estera, on the beach side is a yellow house. It kind of looks like a wedding cake. That's kind of more of what we're trying to get people to build, or the octangular house at the very end of the island that was just build some character.
Right.
And so that's what we're trying to do with this ordinance. So other piece of this ordinance that we're trying to change is that how we measure height around here. On this beach,
different ways to measure height, huh?
Height, yes.
All right.
And so we are one of the only communities I know of, and I'm sure somebody's going to say I know of a community that does it this way. Right. But in this area that measures height of the house to the eave, to the bottom of the roof. Most communities measure height to the top of the roof, to the apex of the roof.
Okay.
And so that creates a much taller house.
Yeah.
Than any other community around here.
So you could have like a ginormous attic up there and the roof.
Mm-hmm.
So you're trying to minimize how high they can go.
Bring them down, bring them in, but then say, okay,
have some
here's
character.
The carrot part. If you want to go higher, then give us a little bit more side setback.
So you can see the water, you can see the sunshine, you can see. Mm-hmm. So it was a bit confusing. It didn't seem like this ordinance has gone to one public hearing, but Roger didn't seem to understand whether it was at the second one or where we at.
There was some discrepancy
Okay.
on whether it had gone to a second reading.
It did not go to a second. I checked last night. So it was, I think, February 21st meeting. It was in there. It had its first reading, first discussion. At the time, Bruce Butcher was struggling with some of the concept of it and visualizing it. So he asked for more clarification. We had an election since then. He is not a member of town council. And then we've now had COVID, and now we're 9 months, 10 months later, and we still haven't had a second reading on this.
Do you have to redo the first hearing because it's a whole new council?
No.
I mean,
No,
It doesn't expire.
it doesn't expire.
well, I mean, maybe these new council members have a different opinion on
Well,
it.
remember, 2 of them voted yes on it on the LPA.
LPA.
Okay. Well, I guess. They also voted yes on the Dune walkover. But we won't talk about that. I know it's a whole different
there's
story.
that change.
No. I won't do that. So, so did they give you an idea when it might come up?
I don't know. The agenda is set by Roger and Mayor Murphy. And so hopefully, I think we need to kind of just, right now, I'm sure somebody is trying to figure this piece out and when can it go on and what's going on with it. Because again, stuff falls away because of COVID. COVID was, it rocked our little world around here.
Listen, I just
Right.
want you to know that I'm not going to push it and I'm not going to threaten you with any kind of poll thing. So I don't know. There is nothing. And you're getting all kinds of kudos here that they love you. These people out here love you.
So the ordinance is already written. It's been read
Well,
once, and now it's got to go twice.
Well,
for
the
review.
ordinance has been written. These are edits and changes to it. So it doesn't really technically go through the same. It's a new ordinance. It's edits and changes to the current ordinance we have. And it is really to incentivize, to get us some character on this island, keep it going, because this is now not only an Estero Boulevard issue. This is going to be down our side street soon.
Mhm.
And as I explained in that meeting, I live on Hibiscus.
Yeah.
And we are a tight street. And if everybody built that way, I'd have sun on my pool from about 12 to about 2 and not really enjoy our backyards much.
Oh,
and
so
enjoy
there's
the
a
pool.
house going up close to you.
No,
Oh, just
but
if it was.
if it
Gotcha.
was,
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And so I don't think everyone understands the full impact of the way we do things right now as the streets are being developed down the sides. And yes, there are streets that have got these houses on them and they have issues with them.
I think that you're going to get total support from residents. They love the look of the beach, and they, unless you're a builder that wants to maximize the revenue you can from something like that, there's going to be zero objection
Or
from
someone
residents.
that, someone wants the view over the neighbor's house, then it just keeps going up and up and up and
We
up.
had a case not too long ago. What was interesting is that the person on the bay wanted some variances, some side setback variances, and all the neighbors came in and said, "Wait a minute, we built a code to maximize the ability to see down the street and see that view.
Right.
Hold their feet to the fire
Right.
because we did our part. They need to do their part so that we protect our view corridor. People enjoy that,
Right.
and it's fair.
Now, I know you got to run back to the Mermaid Festival. Is it festival or fest?
Fest,
Mermaid
I think.
Fest.
Fest.
And so, what other issues is the LPA working on that people should know about?
Well, the town hired a consultant to look at the comprehensive plan, and because the comprehensive plan, you only get to revise it so often and look at it. And we hired a firm to take a look at it. So there'll be some public meetings coming up. So if you got an opinion about the comprehensive plan, which has been in, a lot of people have opinions about it. And then for those, it pretty much talks about what we want to be, how we should act. So when you build on the island, there's about 3 different things you have to play with: Florida Building Code, our LDC, and our comprehensive plan.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're going to look at the comprehensive plan, makes edits and changes to it. And that's coming up over the next month. So you'll see more meetings about that. And I remember from the RFP or the RFQ, whatever,
Right.
whatever they submitted,
Or something.
the bid that they agreed to,
Right.
quite a few public meetings on that. So we'll get that in there and so people can talk about it.
Was the LPA meeting for this month canceled?
Yes,
Okay, so the next one will be
December.
okay.
Second
December.
Tuesday in December. It's the second Tuesday of every month unless we advertise otherwise.
Okay.
This month there just wasn't. We have to have some substance to meet about because again we are a volunteer board.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
so don't call us in here for something stupid.
And so you don't need any. You don't need any volunteers for the historical blah 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 blah.
No.
Okay.
Back to the Historic Preservation Advisory Committee. I know that they're looking for members of that. That's a very important committee.
Oh yeah.
One of the
Who
things
doesn't want to be on a
I
historical
know, that would
anything?
be fun.
One of the tasks that we've given them is how do we save some of these little cottages? We have places to put so to find a way to meet those who want to save the cottages with those who have a place for the cottage. So they are so if you're interested in helping out with that and getting on that board and working towards all the historic preservation pieces of the island, they
Who
do
should
a
they call?
recognition program. The town. You have to apply
Okay.
to the town and get appointed by town council.
So there's about 40 booths over at Lovers Key,
Mm-hmm.
including your booth. They should come see you at Reef Box booth or.
Well, it's Reef Box and Fort Myers Beach Yoga Project. We're right as you walk in
Oh,
the
cool.
front. We got primo spot.
Yeah, and there's
We got
I think-
Rockstar parking.
of course, and the Fort Myers Beach Foundation is out there with the
Yeah.
hashtag FMB stuff, and
The Women's Foundation out there, and
Cool.
I believe they're representing quite a few of the different charitable organizations here. A lot of art vendors out there. There's yoga here in about
I think the
30
PTO's
minutes.
out
Yeah.
there.
PTO, I think,
Oh, cool.
is out there. There's quite a few out there.
awesome. Well, thank you so much for
Thank
coming
you
on.
so
Please,
much.
Appreciate it.
don't be a stranger whenever you have something that you want to talk about. Just pick up the phone, and you're the first on the list.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you, because I'm your favorite guest.
That's right,
That's
of all
right.
time.
Of all time.
All right, everybody, Megan
All right.
Howe, big hand
Thank
for
you.
Megan.
I
You
appreciate
can-
your time.
You can see her and the group down at the Lovers Key Mermaid Fest. The Mermaid Fest is going on right now. Before we get to our second guest, Big Mama from B103.9, I did want to tell you that that the Lions Club, speaking of organizations that you should support, the Lions Club puts on the Shrimp Fest, and the Lions Club is looking for shrimp figurines. They need shrimp figurines to put on the Christmas tree that they're going to be auctioning off at the Women's Club. The Women's Club does the Christmas tree auction every year to raise funds, and the Lions Club is going to have a tree there. So if you have a figurine, I make shrimp figurines all the time, folks, and, it's really not that difficult. So if you have a shrimp figurine that you can donate as an ornament for the tree, then what you should do is drop it off at the Chamber of Commerce, because the Chamber of Commerce is collecting the shrimp figurines. Or they'll take $20 donations. Money is always good. So get in touch with the Lions Club and get in touch with your feelings, and make sure that you help out the folks at the Lions Club, because, they're super nice. And of course, the trees will be donated on December 11th and December 12th at the 3rd annual Christmas Tree Festival and Auction. And that's next month. So do your duty and buy some figurines, or make a figurine, and help out the Lions Club as they put their tree together. All right, everybody. Our second guest, is a familiar name around these parts. Big Mama from
Hey, what? Hey, there it is.
He's
From,
gotta get it right.
B103.9, and we've got so much to talk about. We'll get to the veteran stuff, of course, because that's super cool. You have to
It's just
to bring your
adorable.
son up
Just
and show him
adorable.
to everybody watching us here. And how
Yeah.
old is your son here?
He's 2.5 years old. His whole life was publicized.
He's
actually
okay.
in
Bring
the
him
world.
on. Bring him on. We got to
Come here,
see.
Bubba.
Everybody's
Come
got
here.
to see that
Come say
orange
hello.
hair, because
He
Daddy's got
is,
no hair, so he knows what his future's going to be all about.
Let's see. Hold on.
Oopsie,
Got to
buddy.
lift him up. Hold his mic, dear. Help
All right,
him out here. He's only
I'm
got
gonna
2
hold his
hands. There he
child.
goes. Look at
And then
that.
right.
Wow, that
There
is
it is.
2 years
Oh.
old.
2
Very
years
cute.
old.
Yeah.
I take him pretty much everywhere I go. He's my buddy. For a while, he was on the show with me. He would come in the morning. After the pandemic, as we're trying to reaccustom to everything that's going on, it's been really crazy out there.
For sure.
So, but I got to tell you, I got to figure out a way to get some digs like this to do my show on. This is the greatest little dig you got set up right here. And it's a beautiful morning.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it really is. The nice breeze out here. Well, thank you for allowing me to be on the show today.
Oh, stop.
thank
and
you for coming
And the
on.
beer starts flowing at 7:00 here, so that's even all the better now.
Wow, 7:00 beer flow. I like it.
Or mimosas,
There you go.
or Bloody Marys.
Bloody Marys. I'm excited. I said, "Ooh, they got breakfast. Let's eat." So
Yeah.
we brought the whole family.
So the first question I have for you is: you're in the radio world, and I cover the radio world during the day, and it's brutal out there right now. You've been able to stick it out for how long now?
For 12 years, I've been with the Beasleys here in Southwest Florida, 25 years in radio. Luckily, I've only had about 1-2 month low of trying to look for work. I've been blessed in this business. It's been good to me. I've also been good to it. So
Yeah.
Right.
you have to
It
be
helps.
fluid in this business. Like,
Yeah.
you have to understand that things are going to change. And if you can be fluid with it, you'll be okay. But I think what's worked for me for 12 years is just being a part of the community. I love being a part of this town. This is my city. I love Southwest Florida, everything about it. And I don't see myself ever leaving.
Yeah, and it's a great family to work for too. I mean, they're one of the good groups in the radio industry. You don't want to be, well, I don't want to say this too loud because I might get myself in trouble, but iHeart's
careful.
going through a bunch of stuff right now again because they're such a big company and they just, it's an unfortunate situation where COVID has damaged the radio companies just like everybody else, and the revenue is tough out there.
You're exactly right. And you know what? My heart and thoughts and prayers go out to my brother in radio that are struggling with the cutbacks at iHeart. That's an incredibly hard thing to do. I mean, I have a close friend of mine who's got a son and a daughter in school and has relocated his life twice for that company and is now unemployed. So it's rough out there. Radio is rough. But you know what? I'll tell you, I work for the Beasleys, and it's great to work for a company where you meet people with the last name of the company you work with.
Right,
I worked for the past 11 and a half years with Brad Beasley as my general manager, or past 12 years as Brad Beasley is my general manager, working right there. So it's been great to have that relationship and be a part of the Beasley family, because that's what you are when you work there.
Right.
And I'm not saying that because I know they're watching. I'm just saying that because I know.
They're great people. They are very great,
for sure.
Great people. So the second thing I wanted to ask you about was your weight loss, man. First of all, tell our audience how much weight you lost.
Can't really say big anymore.
Well, yeah, I was 279 pounds at one point.
And you're how tall?
And I'm 5'11". And I was wearing a 42, 44 inch pants, somewhere right around there. 44 is where I decided I had to do something. I was already a little overweight. And then when my wife got pregnant, we went through IVF, and that was there's a lot of hormones getting into her body, which causes her to have erratic eating. And that just makes me eating a lot of stress. I'm a stress eater. I'm mowing food every day. And then I met Dr. Dollar. And Dr. Dollar told me that I could intermittent fast and lose weight. And he told me, don't even, if you don't believe me, don't even change what you eat, just change when you eat, and it'll work. And I was like, all right, I'm going to do it. So I changed when I ate and didn't really change what I ate at first. And like the first week I lost 5 pounds, and I was like, well, let me change what I eat.
Because you start feeling successful at it, and then you want it to keep going and going and going.
Yeah, and then it becomes a challenge. So how skinny can I get?
Yeah. Well, what is intermittent eating? I have no idea what that is.
You're eating you're 16 hours on, 8 hours off. So 8 hours of eating, 16 hours of fasting is the way it works. I got that backwards. So you have to think of it this way, though. You're going to sleep for 8 hours, right? Hopefully. So you're going to fast 4 hours before you go to sleep. 4 hours before you get up. I like to say you bookend it with something healthy, and then you eat whatever you want during those 8 hours. As long as you're not, living off of donuts, you got to make sure you're putting healthy.
And I think people do different. I mean, I think they do different combinations of the time too. I mean, I think there's different.
Well, you know what's funny is I actually coach. I have a group that I coach on Facebook to help other people get through here. I built a group on Facebook that I'm out there trying to coach people on how to fast and how to help them get to their weight goals, because it's a lifestyle change. That's what it was for me. For me, it was like, some people do 12 hours on, 12 hours off. Right. The goal actually is 16 and 8. It's what works. And like Dr. Dollar always told me, he always says, people have been intermittent fasting for millions and millions of years.
We're just now calling it that.
Well, and the idea is you're not going to binge eat after you fast too, right?
I don't even know what it is. I don't call it a diet because it's not really a diet. It was a lifestyle change for me, and I lost 80 pounds doing it.
Wow.
And I lost it in like 11 months, 12 months. I've never felt better. It's easy for me. I sleep sound. There's a lot of benefits to it, but I also still struggle with it. It's a constant struggle. Sometimes, Halloween's rough for somebody like me that likes a lot of Kit Kats.
Yeah,
you just got to have them in those 8 hours.
Let me get some Kit Kats. So
now, do you do much exercise in addition to that? Did you start an exercise
I did
plan?
start exercising. I did start riding a bike. Now, I didn't lose the weight. I lost the weight with zero exercise. Okay. Not one drop of exercise. Wow.
Not one.
Not one drop.
I don't encourage that, folks, but whatever it takes.
But I did, however, start biking in the morning. And then I would get up at 2:15 in the morning, and my wife would say I was crazy, and I would go out and I'd bike 4, 5, 6 miles, and then I'd come in, take a shower, go to work, and go do the show. I felt great doing that. Now, I haven't done that. The rainy season killed me. It demotivated me. I'm trying to get back. There's the world right now is crazy in my world, and it was just hard for me to focus. So I'm trying to get back to it. So thank you for putting me on the spot. I'm going to get back to it Monday.
You
now.
road, bike, you road biking?
on track.
Yeah, just bike, bike riding. I just bought a bike during the pandemic, like everybody else in the world.
Right.
Me and the family went out and all got bikes, and I just kept riding mine.
Walmart was out of, I mean, it was just crazy.
Oh, you didn't go to
couldn't find a
Walmart,
bike
though. Where'd you
anywhere.
get your bike?
Absolutely, I went to Walmart and
Oh.
bought my bike, just like everybody else,
You
man.
spent $75 on a new bike.
$75 to exercise. It doesn't take it. You know what's funny is it's great that you brought that up. It doesn't take. You can go out if you want to get serious about it. Go out and buy you a $400 bike. But if you're just trying to get out there and get motivated, buy yourself a $50, $75
For sure,
bike
because those things weigh 3,000
and if
pounds.
you're
Or go
not
on the
sure-
marketplace and buy
if
a
you're
used
not
one.
sure if you're going to
That's
be
right.
into biking,
Yeah, not out much.
yeah, but yeah, there you go. That was
Like
me, and
the
I wasn't
treadmill
sure.
that doubles as a coat hanger.
Yeah, there you go. And I sold health club memberships before I got
Okay, so you know the
into
drill.
radio, so I knew what I needed to do to get healthy. I understood a lifestyle change, so that's how it worked for me. And I love the fact that I wear a 34 now, a 36 inch, somewhere right around there where I go, and I wore 44s. So it's a great thing. I love where I'm at.
Well, anytime you want to go riding, let me know. I go out at 3:30.
Yeah, I can tell. You got those right. You got those right
Chicken
legs.
legs.
Sit right there. Like, look at this
Chicken
guy.
legs.
This guy right here is like,
I
what
know.
did you do?
I
What did
know.
you do to lose weight? I'm here right now. I'm so big. You are a skinny boy.
So what is
He
your
does
weight now? What did you
push-ups
get?
I'm
first.
at 195 right now.
Nice.
I sit right about 195. I fluctuate. 200 scares me. So when I do hit that, like if I binge eat for a whole week or something, 200 scares me. So I'll immediately go
Put
right.
it in check.
Yeah, I'll put it in check.
So all you radio people get all the free food delivered to the studio. Well, probably not with
nixed
COVID
donuts. And not with COVID, but before COVID, I nixed donuts because donuts were coming to the studio 3-4 times
Sure.
a week. So I was like, yeah, if the donuts came, I just took them to the break room, let the salespeople get fat.
now. All right, so
They're out walking it off,
yeah,
right?
they're good. Yeah, I don't know.
I got a press release a day or two ago from Beasley for my day job that mentioned that you're launching or have launched a brand new radio network. Tell us about it.
All right, so I've done a lot with Home Base, which is a organization here, a Red Sox organization that works with veterans, and I really enjoy working with them. And then they started trying to motivate me to do something more, a radio show. And I was like, well, I really couldn't figure out a way to blend it in naturally into what is kind of like a humor morning show, to where we could get the point across. There would be times like this Veterans Day, we got a massive show going on, and I'm very excited about what we got going on there. But I wanted to start this radio show, so we started brain powering the Beasleys and I about what we could do. And then I started thinking, well, I'll do this in addition to what I already have to do if it's on more than one radio station.
Good call.
Because that's the goal
a
for
lot of
me.
work,
It's a
yeah.
lot of work, and if I'm going to do it, I want it on more. My goal is to have Beasley's put it on every one of their radio stations, and get that awareness out nationally. Because right now it's local, but once I'm able to put that on all the Beasley radio stations, I'll be able to reach out to veteran organizations all across the country and get them on and get this awareness out. And if nothing more, then also share the stories, because we do a salute to service, and we always find a story out there that's really trending. That somebody did something great, and it's just a public service show that I'm excited to do, and I feel it's going to be way bigger one day than it is right now.
And so you're a vet.
Yeah, I'm an Army veteran now. I'm not a combat vet. I spent 2 years in 90 to 92. I had a 2-year enlistment. I was stationed at Fort Richardson, Alaska. I was with the 17th Infantry Battalion, and I got to tell you, it was a good time. Working with the 17th Infantry Division, but I was upset because I was airborne, and when we got out of basic training, and this is the true story, and I like to tell this story. We got out of basic training, and they go, "Hey, we're all going mechanized because we're all going to Iraq," and I'm like, "I'm not going mechanized. I joined the Army to jump out of planes. That's why I'm here. I'm not doing that." Now, the one thing, and every veteran in the world will tell you this: what's the one thing you don't do at basic training? You never raise your hand, because they'll ask you, who don't like this? And if you raise your hand, you're doing push-ups for like 46 hours. You're in trouble forever. So at basic, you keep your hand down. Well, we had just finished, and we were getting ready to go to AIT, and I wanted to go to airborne school. I wanted to be a grunt. I wanted to be a airborne grunt, and they wanted me to go mechanized. So 3 of us raised our hands. We all 3 went to Alaska. And went to airborne school. We got to go to airborne school, but we went to Alaska after that, and then everyone else went off to actually to Italy, and then eventually into Iraq. And and into war. So we didn't get a chance to actually go into combat because we raised our hands. So when I got out I was just kind of like, well, I did my deal. I did my thing. I did a lot to support veterans, because there's veterans out there that have given their body parts and their and their mental stability for their country. So when I got a chance to do this show, I said, at first I was like, well, you guys don't have somebody that's got a real story to tell to do this show. Then I realized it wasn't my job to tell my story.
Yeah.
It was
Get it out
my
of them.
job
Yep.
to let everyone else tell their story. And
Mhm.
because I'm a good person at letting you tell your story, letting this man tell his story, and getting it to sound compelling so you enjoy listening to
So
it.
where
Can
do you?
you
Go
can
ahead.
you tell us a little bit more about Home Base and the collaboration between, because it's through Boston.
The Boston
Mass
Red
Gen-
Sox
and-
have a organization called Home Base, and Home Base is they work with PTSD, and they have a great fitness. If you're a veteran trying to get back into the shape that you want, they've got a great fitness program, a bunch of programs, and every year they do a walk called Run to Home Base, and that's where I met them. And at first I'd walk because I was a big guy.
Right.
And then this last time I kind of speed walked it because my wife and I had lost our weight, and they were like, "We love you being here." I became a spokesperson for them there, and I started, hosting and emceeing it. And then the relationship just built. I started talking to General Franks and Armando,
Wow.
and they started talking to me, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm in. Let's do this radio show." So I enjoy it. I like to meet people. I just got a new guest sitting here waiting to get on your guys' show, so it's a lot of fun.
So where do you broadcast? Where do you record the show? Or
I record it all right here in Estero at the Beasley. I
Okay.
do it throughout the week. We record it, and then it's broadcast Sunday mornings on all the stations. And
what time?
It's at 5:30. I hope one day that at 5:30 or 6
in the morning.
in the morning on
Okay.
Sundays.
So they're filling in their public service.
It's a public service.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It is what it is. It's what
Right.
they created. So I wanted this. It was the only way I could get it on. It is a public service show that was on. But here's what I'm doing. It's going to be that big. This is where it starts.
Yeah.
All right. You don't put it on all 5 stations. I couldn't have talked to Beasley's to putting me on all 5 stations with anything else in the world.
Yeah.
I said,
Right.
I'll take over the PSA show and I'll do it. And so that's what it is.
So are they?
you're gonna have guests come into the show, or you're gonna remotely.
Hopefully, yes,
Okay.
one day. I can't have guests in my show now. For Veterans Day, we're making exceptions. We have an incredible amount of sanitation coming in. Like, we're going to make exceptions because we have a state representative. We have the sheriff coming in.
Nice.
General Franks is going to be coming in. So we have a lot of people that are going to be on the show for Veterans Day. And I don't want. So we're that'll be the first day that we have people coming in instead of just doing the phone call. So a lot of them right now, they've all been via phone. We're interviewing via phone. But yes, once we get past COVID and we can have guests back in the studio, 100%. I like to have everybody on
local,
live.
but then you're gonna.
Oh, I would love one day to be able to put it on everywhere, and then they're coming in just to be guests on the show. And I would love to do this live one day
Oh, yeah.
at
Yeah,
a
that'd
much
be
better
great.
time. Obviously, I'm better live than I am recorded.
It's a better feel.
It's a better feel.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, this right
More
here.
genuine,
This
yeah.
wouldn't be the same if it was
No.
recorded. You would
In
be
our
like, all right,
house.
cut. Let's recut
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
That's no good.
And that never ends.
And it never ends. And and you'll spend 4 hours cutting a 1 hour show. Doesn't make sense.
Right. So, but the Beasleys also have a podcast network. Is it going to be a podcast?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Every episode will be podcast.
Okay,
it
good.
has we've built its own social media, its own website, its own platform. We wanted to make sure that we could get out there and let everyone know about it. And it's called the Bravery Network. You can go the Show of the Brave.com and go check it out, and it's a good time.
So the podcast, the podcast network that Beasley has is called shit. I'm drawing a blank now. If you don't know it, I'm gonna.
Well,
you're gonna be
Bpod
more
Studios. I'm going to be
yeah.
at Bpod Studios. Yeah. So
Bpod. I think it's bpodstudios.com.
Yeah.
And so you can probably get it on Apple too. I'm guessing if you want to subscribe to it on Apple.
Yeah, it'll also be on all the Apple podcasts, and it'll be available. Actually, you can download it actually from the website as well. So
Yeah.
it's going to be very interesting, and I appreciate you telling everybody about the podcast.
Yeah, because then you can listen to it whenever you're working out or any time of the day. You don't have to tune into the PSA show at 5:30 on Sundays.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'll be having a General this week. You threw me off now. I have a doctor on. We're going to be talking about animals and animal
Animals.
therapy. So we got that going on. And then next week, I have General Franks on.
So when you say General Franks, is he
He's-
coming from Tampa or is he living?
Naples, right?
Naples.
Oh, he lives in Naples.
Naples,
Yeah.
yeah, Naples.
Wow, that's going to be huge. Is that going to be on Facebook Live or something too?
It'll be
or-
live on air for Facebook Live. We're going to put it all on Facebook Live. It'll be live. He's in studio. I'm not prepared. I
No
wasn't
worries,
prepared.
no
But
worries. We'll
I'm going to say
figure it out.
9 a.m. is what time I have him in studio. I know that I have Sheriff Carmine Marcino in at 8, and then the new state representative. Mike, and I'm going to say his name wrong live again. Here we go. I don't want to do that. So
Nobody pays attention to state government
yeah.
these days.
Oh,
There's so
so-
much other stuff going
So how
on.
long
But
does
you know
the
what's
show
funny
run?
is I don't want to get into politics with you, but I'm going to tell you that's what people should pay attention to.
Yeah. True.
Local and state politics are way more important to everyone than the national politics, and no one watches the state or local politics. And it's something I think everyone
we've
should talk
had
to.
local
We've had
politicians
lots.
on and had
Yeah.
some issues with them, but that's a whole different story. So
Yeah.
go ahead, dear. You
So
had a
how
question.
long is the show?
It's a half hour long.
Okay.
So we put it on. It's I tried to get it up to a full hour, but it was hard to squeeze in with the programming. So we're starting a half
okay.
hour. I'll get it to an hour long show and hopefully turn it into a full blown. I hope to get it on the news networks. I want to make this bigger than that.
Such as,
I see. Well, we own JBX. We own a
Okay.
news station.
yeah,
I can see this as a regular show on that station. I could also see it becoming bigger than that nationally. I love talking politics. I love talking news. I love talking veterans, and I can sit down and talk about anything you want to talk about.
and that's the kind of the dilemma with, not a dilemma because the station's so successful, but on B103, it's more culture talk and Kim Kardashian talk, and it's
Absolutely.
you get into the politics.
Oh, I don't get into politics.
Yeah, then you totally turn that audience off.
Yeah, well, because they say that. They say that. They say that, well, we've done some research, and if you say anything about one candidate or the other, people are going to be really upset. I'm like,
That's
yeah,
a
who'd
really
you-
good voice.
let me
too.
see the studies. Let me
Yeah,
see the
right,
studies.
right.
Let me see who you
me see
researched.
the
I want to
data.
see who you researched.
It's all
And then like,
people are
well,
talking
I
about.
don't know if it's going to be tremendous or not. But it's crazy just to have something like that.
That sounded oddly
Do you? Let me ask you a question. Did they force you to watch The Bachelor just so you can
I
talk
can't
about
watch it.
Because
So-
it's
So the deal is, we got 3 people on the show. So the shows like The Bachelor, that's Little Brownie.
Okay.
All those shows, Brownie. All the fun shows, Big Mama.
like
so
what's a
that's-
fun show
and
to
all
watch?
the superhero shows are Budman. Budman watches every superhero show on the world. He is our sci-fi nerd on the shows. I don't have to watch those either. Big Brother. I
Okay,
love Big
gotcha.
Brother. That's my reality show. If you want to get one. Hey,
There's
Bubba.
Little Man.
Is that my sandwich? My sandwich. So that's what I like to watch. That's
and
my
that
show.
show's been like the #1 show for how many years now? I mean, they've got to be paying you $1 million. If they're not, you're way
Because
underpaid.
radio
man.
is
Come on.
so highly paid.
Yeah. Well, they're not paying me $1 million.
Oh,
I'm
that's
glad that you brought
horseshit,
this
man.
up.
Come
Now I'm
on.
going to get somebody to do that now. So now that me and you had this conversation, I'm going to have to get out there and be like, wait a second, damn it. Someone needs to pay me money. I need to make more money around here. You know what's funny is I'm thankful because if the Beasleys are the type of family that if I became homeless, they would be like, we got you a house.
Right.
Move in tonight.
Yeah.
It would cost me. It would come out of my check weekly, but they would make sure I wasn't homeless. So, I mean, you know
That
what I'm saying?
$1 million
Yeah,
check.
no doubt. But it's a great company to work for. I love my community. I love the fact that I get the chance to be on with you, to sit here and have this this conversation.
You're good
they
at
asked
BS.
me-
You're good at BS and PR too. So thank you very much.
Yeah, BS and PR. They're like, hey, Big Mama, go. Hey, can you do me a favor? Go on this this beach talk show.
I could just see what he was saying. Oh God, I got to go all the way down to the beach and
You know what's
hang out.
funny
on my
is I thought
Saturday.
I was going to make my wife upset, so I didn't even tell her till like she got home from work last
Oh
night.
boy.
And I was like, "Hey, guess what we're doing tomorrow morning at 9:30? We're going to the beach. We're gonna have breakfast though. It's going to be great."
He does the
She
same
didn't look
thing.
too upset.
No,
The
she was like,
kids are
"Really?
having a
All right, we're
blast.
good." So she's actually really cool with it. And I got to tell you, it's here every weekend.
Oh, 2
Yeah.
years now. Yeah,
Man,
2
this
years.
is a great setup. I mean,
Yeah.
it really is.
We used to be out at table 23 out there, but we got a code violation,
Yeah.
so we got stuck inside.
a code
Oh
violation.
yeah,
Goddamn.
we talk politics all the time here on this show, and that doesn't go over well.
Stir,
Oh, especially
stir,
you can talk
stir.
Fort Myers Beach
Oh, yeah.
politics too, and that's
Yeah.
intense.
all the time, all the time.
Yeah, it got intense. I was I
used dictator one too many times about.
I had
the
a
mayor.
big vocalization about it one time, and
does that mean?
about Fort Myers Beach. I was upset about the liveaboards not getting during the pandemic, not getting their boats pumped out in a timely manner. I found out about it, and I felt like it was being paused to not help them. So I went vocal with it, and I actually called a couple of connections that I had with the Lee County and said, I don't want to hear that they don't get pumped out tomorrow or the next day or the next day. If that, because no one should have to live in their own crap.
No.
So I felt like there was we can get that
or
done.
dump it into
Well,
the
that
water.
was going to happen.
Well, yeah.
If they couldn't get it pumped, they're
Right.
going to dump it into our water system and not care about it.
Well, how did you
because
find out about it? How did you know it was
People
I
happening?
got a phone
probably called
call.
you.
Somebody
Nice.
calls me.
Somebody dropped a dime.
Yeah.
Very nice.
I won't even. I don't know if I should drop his dime, so I better not.
Go
But,
right ahead. Nobody watches.
well-
Nobody listens.
Mike Chinopoulos, the lawyer from Absolute Law,
Okay.
he called me and he had a friend that lived down here and he was telling me the whole story. And when he told me the story, I was like, man, let me research it. And I researched it and found out it was 100% true.
Nice.
This beach is important to me. Me and my wife were talking on the way down how I wish that people would come down to this beach and walk it on Friday nights like it used to be. Like, what are you doing tonight? I'm going to go walk the beach. We're going to have a
Right.
good time.
Dude, I say that all the time.
Yep.
It's like I say, why doesn't the beach government promote this beach more to Lee County or other counties during the off season?
Local areas. Yeah.
To have more local people come down. I just don't understand why it's only for the most part.
Why it's okay for it to be stagnant at certain times of the year, and you're not.
And the conclusion that I came to was that's the way they want it. It's their
It's
beach.
their vacation. It's their break.
It's their beach, and they want it to be their community. That's why they broke off from Lee County and have their own government. That's what I think they
And
want.
then we took our turn right into
if I
politics
get him
here.
fired up on it, boy, look at that.
I
Look
know,
at that.
see?
I let him
And
right
then-
down there. So tell me exactly how that makes
Yeah,
you feel.
You stop it, because then you're going to leave, and I got to deal with it.
Right. Yeah. So tell us again about the show and how people can listen and tune in and all that.
You can definitely go to showofthebrave.com and get a lot of the information there. All the social media links are there. You can follow it on social media, but you can hear it on all the Beasley radio stations: B1039, 96 K Rock, WJBX, 99.3 ESPN, and Sunny 106.3 on Sunday mornings at 5:30 or 6, depending on which station, what time they put on their PSA show. But I'm excited to do it. If you can't get up that early, I understand. I actually do get up that early on the weekends.
Yep.
That's why it was no problem getting here. I was up at 6 o'clock this morning. That's sleeping in for me, 6.
I hear you.
So yeah, right. You get up early too,
Oh,
so you
yeah.
totally get it.
Morning man
Well-
from way back when.
And if they can't listen to it then, they can always get on the podcast.
On the podcast,
Yeah,
and
I
that'll
would
be available
suggest
on
people
all.
go to Apple and
Yeah,
subscribe to
me
it
too.
or bpod.com and listen to it there. But if you have the Apple podcast app on your phone, then you just subscribe to it. Every time a new episode is uploaded, you'll get a notification and you can listen to it whenever you want to, or listen to the station. However you listen to your audio these days, there's so many different ways.
There is so many different ways, and this right here is one of the most hottest ways to
Yeah.
do things now. You got a great setup, man. I like this, man. I'm
Appreciate
looking
it.
at like, all right, I got to get one of those, one of those.
Yeah, that was the
all
best.
You gotta get one of
investment right
those.
there.
Yeah. I like it. I
Well,
like it.
Christy put up the Facebook page for your
Yep.
Big Mama
Yep.
Radio, so
Oh,
she's
all right.
letting everybody know we have great fans.
Yeah.
We have wonderful
They're
folks
awesome,
that
and
support us. Yep.
I'm sure they'll be tuning in to
Yep.
listen to it. And do you have to produce everything yourself too? You get some
Well,
help.
I have a Budman who is my co-host on the show. He built all the imaging, but I do produce the show myself because I can't just load that onto anyone else. So I do produce it myself. I do it. I won't even. I'll do it Wednesdays. It's Wednesdays when I get off the air. I get into the studio and I sit and I produce them on Wednesdays, and then I put up the next show. I don't like to do them ahead because I like the stories to be fresh, the salute to service to be fresh, and the interview to be fresh, because sometimes I want to talk about what's going on in the world with my guest, and
that could change.
and that could change
Day
it.
to day.
It could be changing
Yep.
while
That's
we're
right.
talking
Yep.
right
it
now.
might have already changed.
It might have already changed while we were sitting here during this.
A local veteran to talk to other than Dave Skoog, who's been sitting here watching, is Chris O'Neill, the owner of Sir Pizza. We've had him on several times. He would be an awesome guest. He's
awesome
a great
guest.
person. Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Sir Pizza.
Yeah.
yeah.
And but that's
Yeah, he's a great interview to have on.
we did a veteran show last year where we had 4 or 5
Yep.
when we're still allowed outside. So what's on the agenda for Monday morning's big show?
For the Monday morning show, we are giving away Lululemon leggings, which are
Oh,
like some
wow.
really good leggings. Hey, we're giving away. I'm a woman station, man. I got to get
Oh,
women to
Christ.
listen. All right, so I give away.
Are you
expensive
wearing them,
leggings.
or you're giving
I'm
them?
actually wearing them right now as we
Okay,
speak.
yes.
You can't see
See
them
from
on the
the
camera,
bottom.
but I'm wearing them now. I try them on all day long, and then I give them away on Monday.
Dude, you live in Florida, and you're probably the whitest person I've ever seen in my
That's
life. Can you get
true.
some sun for crying
Hey,
out loud?
I'm a ginger. What are
Yeah,
you
you
looking
gotta
at?
be
Here,
careful
man?
with
I wish
that.
I had your life down here on the beach. But we do Movie Poem Monday. We do Misconnections, and it's always a great time for you to tune in. Misconnections is at 9:00, and that's where we go onto Craigslist and read the Misconnections live.
Wow.
And maybe your love is right there.
Okay.
Maybe your love is on there. Maybe somebody found you, my friend.
I hope so. If they did, I can give you our address. You can pick them up.
You can pick him up. There you go.
there you
It was
go.
like, come get Ed right now,
Yeah,
right now.
now.
Come get him. I don't want him
Come get him.
anymore.
I'm
Dude, you
done.
better mention that you were on our show. Come on now. You
I
better
am.
give
I'm going
us
to
a
talk about it.
shout
I'm
out.
going to talk about it Monday. I
All
got
right.
you guys. All right,
All right.
we
Tune
got
in
you.
on
I'm
Monday.
going to share this right here. So I had no idea that.
Shameless plug.
I'm so glad that I shaved a little bit because
Yeah.
I was all like, I didn't know I was going to be actually on camera. So.
And it's 80 pounds in 11 months that he lost just by
intermittent fasting.
intermittent fasting.
You
Very
can
cool.
you can get details on it as now. I'm never mind. I don't. I have a website called skinnyif.com.
No
Now
kidding.
I was pushing everybody to this website because I was coaching people, and they paid a membership fee to coach it. Pandemic, I cut the membership fee. I cut it all off. I coach who's in the group now. If you want to get in the group, I'm going to let people into the group. But if you go to the website, it's going to say it costs to get into the group.
Right.
I'm not charging anybody anymore, and no one's got the money right now. I just feel like before the pandemic, it was great. After
Right.
the pandemic, I didn't want to charge
Can do
somebody.
it.
You
Well,
know,
let me-
we were
Well,
charging.
people could always make a donation if they're in
So
the
that's the
ability
deal.
to
We
do
were
that.
because that's why we did it. We charged $8 a month. We coached people. We gave them motivation, meal plans, all these things. Like we were helping people. We were in there.
Right.
With the pandemic, though, I had people that were canceling because they were losing their work.
Right.
Right.
So I was like, I bet you everybody's struggling, and $8 might change their meal plan. So let me just give them their
So-
$8 back.
because Facebook gets the benefit of everybody's hard work and nothing comes back in return to you. What I mean, she's going to hate me for this, but why not do a podcast on the weight loss? To be with your knowledge and
Podcasting is what I want to do. It's something that Bud Man and I we're great friends. We work together. So a little story. My co-host that's new to the show and only been in the market for a year, a little bit over a year now. We worked together 25 years ago in Phoenix, Arizona.
oh, okay,
wow.
no.
And he went and did his career, and I went and I
Cool.
did my career. My co-host moved to Tampa. We had to do some new hires, so I brought him down. It's been great. We want to do a podcast. We're talking about what type of podcast that we can do additional to what we already do. And I like that. It would probably be, it would be good, but I don't really, I've never been really, this is going to sound crazy. No one's ever taught me the right way to podcast. So
Well, and then the weight loss thing is everybody is into weight loss, and
But I don't know if
everybody
there's
is.
one right way to do
when
it.
you
to
lose
lose weight,
No, to do a
do the
podcast.
podcast.
But when you-
There's not one way to
Or
lose
do
weight
it
either.
either.
You know
Yeah,
what's
it's
funny? The one thing I will say, and this is what I tell everybody: if you're watching this and you want to lose weight, never use the D word.
Right.
Eliminate the word
Yep.
diet because there's no such thing as a diet. There's lifestyle change, and your lifestyle change you can do forever.
Yep.
And just because you change your lifestyle doesn't mean you have to give up the things you love, like
Right.
pizza. You just can't eat a whole pizza.
Yeah. No diet and no R word restriction.
Yeah.
So
You
I
know.
mean, with 80,
Moderation. You need moderation.
all right, dear. With
All right.
80 pounds of success and a voice like that, and built-in audience, it's a
a
home run.
no-brainer.
As long as
Yeah.
you don't have to get attached to the company, and that might be that's always an issue with radio.
It is. There's pros and cons. I don't have a problem talking about
Okay.
it. There's pros and cons to it. Everything I do has to be attached to the radio, but that protects me too. So that's the aisle of it. I couldn't afford the lawyers and the legal team that the Beasleys have, and they will always protect me. They always have.
Yeah.
They've been good for me. Not that they needed to. It's like they always have. Like I'm out getting
you,
SEC
rebel?
violations. You guys better listen. I'm going to do
Using
crazy
all
things
the
on the
bad
radio.
words.
I don't even do. It's funny if you go back even 15 years into my career and you go and you would listen to my radio show then, you wouldn't believe it's the same guy just because I was a shock jock. The things I did on the radio, I didn't understand.
Not on that station, though.
Not on that station. No,
Okay.
no.
Different market?
I've worked on another radio station in this market. I started another radio station in this
Which
market.
one?
I don't talk about it, but
I'm totally.
they're still on the air.
Well, you could
I
probably
was
do
the
the
first
research
DJ
yourself.
ever on that radio station. They're still on the air, and they're one of my competitions.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Let me take that back. They think I'm one of their competitions, but there is no competition for my show.
Nice. Good
Oh,
attitude.
Ah,
Yeah, there you
that's
go.
a great
I'm totally
statement.
perplexed
There
by
you
who
go.
it is, but I don't really pay
You're
that
not
close
picking up
attention
what he's
to-
putting down, so
Yeah. But you will. But
I'll figure it out later.
Yeah,
After a nap.
yeah, exactly. Well, that's what gave me the love for Fort Myers. That's and if you can cut me off anytime you want, guys, because we'll talk until lunch.
There's no time limit here. We don't have
so
to hit the
that's what
top
made
of
me
the
fall in love
hour.
with Fort Myers. I was here for 2 years working for another radio station. I left and went and became a program director and an operations manager and a morning guy in a major market and all the things that I hated about radio. And I was like, I don't want to do that anymore. And then I went all the way to Fresno, and I'm in Fresno, California. And I'm working for a guy named Jerry Clifton, and he's notoriously selling radio stations. He's notoriously just letting them fold, closing them or something. And I've worked for this man for 20 years or 15 years at this time. So I said, hey, when it all folds out, you sell it, close it, or you quit, whatever you do, I'm out. You give me a severance check and a moving truck because I'm going to move to Fort Myers.
Wow.
And he comes walking in one day, and he gives me a check and a key. And the key is to a U-Haul truck. And he says, I just sold this place. You're out of here.
Well, how much was the check for?
$6,000.
Oh,
And I took a $6,000 check in a U-Haul, loaded it all into Fresno with me and my dog, and we shot off to Fort Myers. I came here. I ran a video editing program that got outdated quickly with the creation of with the elevation of YouTube's abilities. And I had about a year of revenue making there on the internet. I did a lot of website building, which I still do, and then I started doing radio shows from my living room
nice.
and back West Coast. So it was like, all right, I don't want to do this. I want to do it. I want to get back in the game. So I waited for somebody to say these words to me. I want you on my team. And I said, when someone says that, whoever says that in this market, I'll go work for them. And I met with iHeart because the operations manager at iHeart, Lewis Kaplan, was my first program director ever in the history of my career. And he's now my competition's operations manager. He was my first PD ever. So I had mad lunches with him. He never said it. I had lunch with everybody. And then the PD at B1039 at the time, Matt Johnson, who he's not here anymore, him sitting with him and Jerry Clifton, who's a consultant because I worked for Jerry Clifton. And he goes, man, how do I get you on my team? And I was like, well, bam, let's do it. Let's go get the paperwork out. Let's get this thing done. So we started doing the paperwork. I worked on 99X for one book so that the Beasleys knew I wasn't crazy and they could trust me because they once fired me in Philadelphia. And 4 months later, they offered me the job to do mornings on B, and here we are 12 years later, and I wouldn't change it for anything in the world.
I had to tell you a quick funny story about B103. When I was doing my radio rounds, I was interviewed for a sales position at B103 and didn't get hired. When do you never hire a salesperson? That's how bad I had to be. I was hired by Gator Country at the time. But that's when I think the station was on the water somewhere. That's all I remember, it being on the water.
Marina Town. I didn't know this, but someone told me that it used to be on Marina Town. And I think I just found that out probably in the past month.
Long time ago. It was a female sales manager or something. And I was shocked that everybody, they just throw a phone book at you and say, go make calls. But I couldn't even get that job back then. No.
Wow.
I don't think you ever told me you didn't get a job.
Yeah. Well, I got hired by Marty Fishman. Remember Marty? He used to sit in the sales office and say, Ed!
I love it.
You knew you were in trouble. Oh, man, this was great. We appreciate you coming down.
Man,
and good luck with the show. Anything we can do to promote the show with Radio Inc. or here, we're happy to do it. So thanks so much. And we'll be listening for you to talk about our show on Monday.
All right, I got it. I'm going to talk about it. Matter of fact, let me give a time that I'm going to talk about it.
All right, everybody.
Let me get it in right now. Let me figure out the time. We are going to talk about it and I want to get you in prime time. Okay. So let's go 7:08 right on the money.
7:08.
7:08 on the money. All right, I'm going to make sure of it too. I like to do those odd numbers.
I
could have said like 7:10.
Yeah, right.
But I like to do the 7:08 because people are like, wow, I got to tune in right at 7:08 now.
All right, it's Little Mama now, Jason Jones, and it's the Bravery Network. And you can listen to it on all the Beasley stations. We'll make sure that we post it on our Facebook page. Thanks so much for coming
Thank
in,
you
man.
so
Thanks.
much.
And
Thanks,
nice
Ed.
to meet
Thanks,
your
Jim. Thanks for
family.
having
Thanks a lot, everybody, for coming down and telling us all about. We got to have your dad on, dear, but you're going to need to read the ad. But go ahead. I'll read one ad. You can read the other ad while I use, you know what. Go ahead and say, she likes to say goodbye to all the guests. We're going to have Kim's dad join us in just a bit, everybody, and we're going to talk about the election. He's getting his hair all ready. I can see him in the green room there. He's got a sad look on his face. I don't think he should have a sad look on his face at all. He should be very happy. IslandOils.com, everybody. IslandOilsLLC.com repels the bugs, the no-see-ums, the mosquitoes, the flies, the gnats. And here it is. This is the bottle that it comes in, and it smells yummalicious. You spray it on you, and you know it's getting cooler out there, so you're going to want to spray it on and spray it on your friends and spray it on your kids and your dog, and it just keeps everything away. It keeps all the bugs away. It keeps the gnats away. It keeps your mother-in-law away. I'm going to try that when she comes down to see if you can keep those kinds of
Will it keep you
bugs.
away?
So let's smell it. Oh, yeah. It smells like something
Citronella
totally
and some
fresh. It's totally fresh. So Kim's going to read the ad right here because we want to make sure we take care of our sponsors. And then we're going to bring Kim's dad up and see if we can get all the speakers to work. So go ahead, dear. Take it away for our last ad.
Okay, and I'm going to read the Fort Myers Tiki Tours. You guys got to get out there on your tiki boats. They're amazing little boats. You can fit 6 people up to there. They provide a captain, U.S. Coast Guard certified captain, and they provide the ice, and you provide whatever you want to bring for beverages and food, and you go up and down the bay. It's about an hour long. They can go 4 people for $119.99 or 6 people for $179.99, and that's total per boat, not per person. They have all the safety equipment, so you want to be safe out there. All the tours are 90 minutes long, so you get to have a good long time out there. People will be waving, people will get their cameras out because they're not used to seeing this little tiki boat kind of floating along, so you'll get lots of attention out there. You can have a good time. It's great for family outing. We did it for Father's Day. It was great. You can do it for girls' night out, bachelorette party, bachelor party, birthdays, anniversaries, Valentine's Day. Get out there. I wonder if they've had anyone propose on one of those. That would be a great option. The sunset, let's see, they have sunset cruises are only $20 more. Prices don't include sales tax. You gotta pay that. And they're following the COVID precautions. They're making sure everything's disinfected prior to every trip that they take. So call now. The phone number is 239-887-0042. That's 239-887-0042. And while he's away, I just want to take a minute to dovetail back on the Veterans Day thing. There's also a great website that's A Million Thanks, and they collect notes, positive written notes and cards that you make.
Hey, good morning. Is this it? Do I just get to go ahead and rant? No.
Are you ready to roll? Okay, I'm getting no response.
All right. I don't know.
Here we go.
Let's see if we can hear you, Dave. We're going to switch over here to our new speaker setup. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, we can hear you. Very nice. So it's so good to see you. You look fabulous. And it's been one crazy kind of week. We haven't looked at the count since we started the show. Where are we on the count?
Well, it hasn't changed. It's been the most boring week. Yeah, it's still at 253 for Biden, and I don't know, 213 for Trump. So that,
All right.
that's,
So
Fox
it looks
News.
like your guy there. Is the sound okay, everybody? Now we just want to make sure the sound's okay. I disconnected it, but looks like I think I connected it back. So it looks like you're going to wind up with 300.
No, I'm just
can't-
playing.
can you not
just
hear us,
playing.
Seth?
No, the sound is fine. The sound is fine. So 300. Yeah. Well, that's
All
what.
right, let's try this. Let's try
Hold
this here.
up.
Hold on one
Hold
second.
up.
Let's go
I
here.
was about ready to give you kudos for
I thought I did it, but I
dovetail
can't.
and-
Let's see.
Do
Hold on,
we-
everybody. We want to make sure that. Let's try this
Hang
right
on, Dad. We're
here.
gonna get you in there. I'm
Uh,
gonna find that.
Can you hear us? Okay. Can you hear us? 10-4, 10-4. Can you hear us? No sound.
I can hear you.
Oh man.
Dave, can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay.
Can
Yes,
you
you
hear
can
me?
hear us. All right. So let's see if we can hear you again. We're going to try one other thing. I'm
Well,
not going to
he's-
try to do this anymore. This is
Well,
the
he's
last week I'm going to try and
Figuring
do
that
this.
out. It's amillionthanks.org. Go
All right.
there, check
we
it
have
out.
it all figured out. Read something, Dave. Read something.
Read. I don't have anything to read. What? No, I got some notes, but it's 253 to 213. It's kind of been.
We
it's
can't hear. I can't hear a
crawling.
word he's saying.
They can hear everything.
I know they can hear it, but it makes no sense why we can't hear him. So, Dave, I'm going to ask you a question, and you're going to answer it. Okay? Let's try
right.
that. Why do you think that Biden did so well? It's not because people are voting for Biden, is it? It's because people are voting against Trump. Wouldn't you agree with it? Come on, be serious with me now. Stop it. Stop laughing.
Certainly, many people wanted to vote Trump out of office because it's been a horrible 4 years. So I can't deny that whoever we had in there was going to get votes from people who were very unhappy with Trump. So, I thought from the beginning, and I think I told you back around February or so, when there were 20 candidates running for the Democratic Party, that Joe Biden would be my choice because
Right.
he can take in the whole group and, in fact, the whole country and work on everybody's behalf. He's good at working across the aisle. And, so he would bring in the progressives and the more central Democrats and the NPAs. And I think that's what happened.
Right. So I think that the first thing that I worried about, assuming that he's going to win, and I think he's going to win, and hopefully that they won't have to pry the Trumpster off the White House refrigerator on January 20th, that he'll go quietly and smoothly like it always has been, that at least when I can remember. But the first thing that I think worried me was that we're going to have a lockdown, and that there's going to be a national mask mandate, and the government's going to shut down the economy. What are the chances of that?
I think I don't think there's going to be a shutdown, lockdown, but I think there will be actions taken to try to get the COVID under control, and they will work because they've worked other places. So, it's not rocket science. Trump has allowed the thing to just run wild, and he's actually supported, the idea that people shouldn't wear masks. All of the doctors, epidemiologists say you need to wear masks to reduce the spread. And here we are on I think it's the third wave. It's gone higher than anybody else. I don't know the numbers from yesterday, but the day before, I think it was roughly 120,000 new cases. It's horrible. The rest of the world is looking at the United States and asking, what is wrong with those people? And what is wrong with us is the leader we have. So,
well, so you didn't really answer my question, and I don't want to debate the mask mandate, or because there probably is going to be a national mask mandate, whether that's legal or not. I guess we'll find out years from now. But you didn't say what he was going to do to make things different. You just said he had a plan. He's never shared what the plan was going to be. And the only plan that is different than what we have now is to start to shut things down. And you listen to what some of the other governments are doing, and they're telling people they can't come out of their house. And Boston is telling people that can only have 10 people in your house, and it's not going to work the second time. People did it the first time because they didn't know what they were dealing with, but now they understand that we have to live with it, but they're not going to go for a lockdown. So what is the plan?
Well, look, there is a plan, and the plan is to get COVID under control and get back to where the economy can operate. And that will a big part of that will be getting a mask. I don't know if it's going to be a mandate. I don't think we're going to have a law that says you have to wear a mask. But I think by having a leader who's encouraging people to do it, people are going to do it. And there'll be different levels around the country probably, but more wearing of masks and controlling the pandemic, because the economy is not going to get better until the pandemic gets better. And the rate we're going, and with flu season coming in, we're headed for a huge disaster. We've been worried about having 200,000 cases. Now we're shooting for like 400,000 cases. It's out of control, and Biden has a plan to get it back into control.
Okay, but he hasn't really shared the plan. Would you agree with that? He really hasn't shared.
No, I don't agree with that.
Well, what's the plan then? Share it with me. I don't watch CNN, so what's the plan?
He's been clear with the plan. I don't have the plan. I don't know the plan details. So, I'm not Joe Biden. I'm not his, he's going to work with a group of scientists and do what the scientists tell us we have to do. That's the plan. And it's going to involve more limits on social distancing and all the rest. Similar, going to be similar to what Boris Johnson is doing in England now. So,
yeah. Okay, so do you want to ask your dad something? So the back to the election. Do you think he's going to go quietly if he loses?
I have no idea what he's going to do, and I know he's going to go. So this idea that he's going to hunker down in the White House and refuse to leave, no, that's not going to happen. So
do you think there's been any shenanigans with any of the voting or any of the ballots in any of those remaining cities?
Nothing material. No, there's no. He makes this claim about there's been these fraudulent things going on there, but he presents no evidence, and he's all angry with his attorneys because they haven't been able to do anything, but they haven't been able to do anything because there's nothing there. It's I'm really tired of this. I'm really tired of Donald Trump and his BS. The guy is a snake oil salesman. He's convinced a lot of people to follow him. I still don't understand it, but there we are. I mean, it's way too close as far as I'm concerned.
So how do you think it's going to work if Biden gets in with him and the Senate and the House of Representatives? How's everybody going to get along? How's everybody going to work together or not?
Well, I'm sure they'll get along better than they do now. And a lot depends on how things settle out in the Senate. There's some questions there about whether the Democrats can actually get back to having control of the Senate. And so when that gets settled, we'll find out. If the Republicans hold on to the Senate and are willing to fight against the administration, we got Mitch McConnell in there again. And if Mitch says no, there's not much that's going to be done with legislative stuff. But there's a lot that can be done to improve the federal government from where it is now. Trump basically pulled the plug on so many things. Biden will rebuild it.
Build back better. That's all we hear about. That terminology is making its way around. Build back better. But there's been stories that I've read just in the last 24 hours about how Mitch McConnell and Biden are friends. They go back a long ways, and perhaps if it does turn out that the Republicans win at least one or both of those seats in Georgia when they run them off, that perhaps he will get along better than Trump and the Senate did. But I guess we'll see. So the worst thing that can happen is gridlock, and I think gridlock in government is the best thing that can happen, because after watching the last 4, 8, 12 years, sometimes, gridlock is better, because it's been horrible to watch politics, especially the last few years.
We had 8 good years with Obama. So,
Right.
don't
Pain.
slander the former president.
Well,
Look at the jobs report numbers for the last 12 years, and you'll be convinced.
well,
don't
I'm
listen
not an
again.
Obama fan, but I don't want to argue with you about our differences in ideology. Do you believe that that Biden will lean more toward one big world, no borders? We're all one big happy, globe together, and start moving away from America being number one, which is what almost half the voters voted for on Tuesday.
That's kind of a ridiculous question. I don't remember hearing something like that since like 1963. So
Really?
let's talk about reality. We have a world order. Trump.
That's what I'm talking about. Reality. Biden's reality is the world order.
Trump has ruined our international relations over his 4 years. So we have the UN, and we have a lot of other groups. He's pulled out of them. He's got our allies in Europe all offended and really having no confidence in the U.S. at this point. Biden will get that back. He keeps criticizing China like it's some little island somewhere. China our population is 331 million. China's is about 1.4 billion. They are growing fast. 70 years ago, they were in really bad shape. They're in much better shape now. They're doing fine, and they're taking over the world because the U.S. in the last 4 years has pulled out. And so we've kind of ceded the international stage to them. I hope Biden will get a lot of that back. He'll certainly make peace with the NATO countries, and he'll work with China where he can and oppose them where he needs to. So we just got to recognize, the U.S. has been the superpower for 30 years or so, and China is going to take that over. It's going to happen, and they've been doing a good job of doing long range planning, and we haven't. So there'll be a better world order once we get back in the game.
I guess time will tell with that. So should people be worried that their taxes will go up?
Yes, if they earn more than $400,000 a year, Joe is saying he'll raise taxes on that part of the economy, that part of the population, and he'll probably roll back some of the cuts to corporate profit taxes that what's his name implemented.
So that'll be tax cuts that'll be tax increases on other people. That's just a different way of saying tax cuts on other middle class people, which is what they should expect when Biden's in office, that their taxes will go up, not on $100,000.
No. Middle income.
You don't really believe that. I know you don't really believe that.
I guess we'll have to wait and see we'll have to wait and see what happens.
All right, sir. Anything else you want to say to our audience? I want to make sure you had a chance to come on and gloat a little bit, because you were right actually, you turned out to be right when we were still outside before we were code violated by the government. You predicted Biden would be the candidate, and you predicted that Biden would win, and he did.
Well, he looks like he is. So it isn't over till it's over, so we still got to count the votes and tidy it all up. I'm amazed that it's taking so long. But no, he hasn't won yet. But the probabilities, I run a little accountant's probability analysis of the thing, and I come up with 295 at this point, based on judgments about the likelihood. So, yes, it's going to be pretty close to 300, and it's almost certain. But it isn't over until it's over.
Yeah, and I think one of the things we can maybe agree on is that with all the things that this country can do and all the technology we have, for the voting to be the way it is, where you can't figure out how to have everybody's vote counted on the same day, it just makes no sense to me. To have 50 different ways of doing things because you have 50 different elections going on or 50 different governments picking different ways, something should be standardized so that everybody gets to vote and all the votes can be counted on the same day. It's just, I know 3 days isn't a big deal or 4 days isn't a big deal, but it kind of is a big deal. And you say all the other countries are looking at us. They're pretty much looking at us and laughing at us. I'm just waiting for somebody to hold up, one of those things with the Chads on them like they did in 2000. At least Florida came out of its hole from 2000 and got it all right. Why can't all the other states get it all right so that we know who the winner is at the end of the day?
Well, we have some historical baggage in the way things were started in the United States, the Federalist system and all that, and it does beg the question, why don't the majority of people get their candidate? Now, this time it happens that they are, but that's our system, and it's going to be very, very difficult to ever change that.
Right.
But I think someday we will, and it's not an undemocratic system that we have. It just isn't. It isn't really quite as good as it should be.
Yeah, yeah. Do you think that the Electoral College system works?
Well, it works, but it undermines the votes of the people by having these little deals where all the Florida, you win by 2% and you get all of Florida. That's not really democratic. So it has some flaws, and maybe in 50 or 100 years we'll work out those flaws. But for right now, this is what we have, and you don't just throw out the Constitution and the laws that have been passed by the legislature just because they're not quite perfect.
So go ahead.
No, I was just.
Are you going to take a position in the Biden administration?
3 questions ago. Well, this is the last question.
No, I'm pretty sure I won't be going to Washington.
All right. Well, we thank you for coming on, and congratulations on your big win. And Trump 2024. That's all I have to say. Oh, I cut him out. And I say that jokingly to him, but I have a feeling that when he finally does get evicted from the White House, that's what he's already thinking. I don't know. I've been going back and forth with some of my friends that are wicked Trump supporters, and it's disturbing to me to listen to people hang their hat on the cheating thing and the voting thing, when I feel like I've been saying it all along. People just didn't hate Joe Biden the way they hated Hillary Clinton and the way they turned out to hate Donald Trump. There was enough haters out there to take. I don't think that people hate Joe Biden. They think he's probably ho hum, and that's okay right now. They had enough of this crazy guy in there, and he these guys that I talk to don't like when I say this, but he didn't make any allies. He burned bridges with so many people in his own party, and I know they claim that they're not really in his party if they don't support him, and it's sometimes the crazy stuff like what he said about John McCain cost him and things like that, and there was just too much to overcome. When you're in politics, you have to play the game if you want to get reelected, and he didn't want to play the game.
I think, I don't know if you would say play the game, but you have to. You can't be so far on one side all the time and be so nasty sometimes and so unpresidential. And
I think he just got so hung up on fighting with the press and this fake news and that fake news, and it was just that's all it was. Every time there was a press conference, that's all it was, and it was just berating people. And there was enough of people in the country that had enough of that to turn out and said he shouldn't. And I've said this a million times. He does come across unpresidential, and I would rather see somebody a tad more presidential, even me. Even though I agree with the policies, I agree with everything that he's got accomplished. I agree with border walls and low taxes and low spending, which didn't occur with him. He's certainly no conservative by any stretch of the imagination. But I think that the policies for the military and the police are strong, and he needed to get in. He needed to come away from the base a little bit. And he didn't. He just didn't. And then the virus. If it wasn't for the virus, I think he would have won easily because the economy was booming and he could lay claim to it because he was the president. And there you are. Now we're facing mask mandates and lockdowns. I don't really understand how there's any other way to do it. But do you want to give away quick prizes before we lose everybody? We have some prizes, and we're going to get out of here, everybody. We got some prizes from the Shrimp Festival or Shrimp Fest. No, what am I saying? The Shrimp Fest. It's a Mermaid Fest, of course. I love the mermaid outfit. So what do we have here? We have a nice little...
this says Trunkers. Making dudes look cool and helping elephants one trunker at a time.
All right. Who's the first person that could tell?
It's beautiful, though, I will say.
It's got elephants on it, and it's very nice. Is it like we're on this camera now. Is it like something that you would wear, or is it something you put on your table? I guess you'll find out when you open it up. So the first person that says, I want it.
I think this is a pocket. I wonder if they're
it's
like
some kind of a smock or something.
Sure.
The first person that says they want it, they can have it. We're going to give it away that way. So there you are. What else? We got another. Looks like we got a nice coffee mug.
Oh, this is.
Who wants the coffee mug? I want the coffee mug. Is all you need to type in. Oh, that's a beautiful coffee. It looks like handcrafted. Lovely color. It's got a beach color.
Kelly Williamson from Williamson Pottery, and it's got a beautiful mermaid.
All right, Peggy. Looks like
perfect.
Peggy wins the coffee mug. Very nice,
Perfect.
Peggy. Very nice. I think she wanted the coffee mug. You're getting the coffee mug, Peggy.
Well,
and Kim's job was to call everybody to let them know, and she didn't do that.
I did.
And
text
our last
somebody.
gift is something I think we gave away last week too.
Oh, this is a candle.
Oh yes, I'll hold your microphone if you want to take the candle out. Our last prize of the day, Peggy gets the coffee mug.
Starfish candles. Let's see.
Dancing starfish candles. Oh, what does it smell like?
Oh, we had one of these.
Oh yes.
One very similar.
We had it made at the Shrimp Festival.
Yes. It's the gel. It's like the gel. And it's got all sorts of shells and little turtles and little starfish in it. It's very cute. It's a candle.
All right. Who wants the candle? And it smells very beachy.
It smells so
Who wants the
good.
candle? Peggy's getting the coffee mug. Kristen, how about Kristen gets the candle?
Okay. Kristen said she
Kristen.
wants the.
Oh, Peggy wants the trunker.
Okay.
Okay. Peggy gets the trunker. Kristen gets the choice of the coffee mug or the candle.
She said, I want the coffee mug. Kristen Gunderson.
Okay, Kristen. Okay, there we go. Now, what do we have left then? The candle? Who wants the candle?
Yes.
Going once. All right, Kathy, thank you. Look at this. It's like B103.9, all women here. We have a women's show going here. So you want to tell the fart
Now
story?
everybody- No.
Come on. She's
No,
got
I'm ready to go.
She needs to tell the fart
No.
story. All right, we'll save the fart story for next week. Thank you all, everybody, for sticking. This is one hell of a long show. 10 minutes, 10:36 it is
Yeah.
now. And thank you all. And good luck in the lockdown. And remember to wear your mask on the beach
stirring
because
that
there is a
pot.
mask mandate on the beach. And we want you to be safe. All the employees here are wearing masks. And we will see you down here next Saturday at Pete's Timeout, our favorite place. And remember, the Mermaid Fest is going on right now. So head on down to Lover's Key after you have a great breakfast here. We love you all. And don't forget to donate to the show. If you think the show is worth it, you can go onto our website, beachtalkradionews.com. Oh, I have to tell this quick story before we go. This is funny. You guys are going to love this story before we go. Then I'll let you go.
5 people that are left. Thank you.
We got a donation of $500 last week. You're going to want to hear this story too, Ange. We got a $500 donation last week, right? Which was crazy because that's a lot of money. So I tried to figure out where the donation came from. So I looked up the name, and the name was somebody I didn't recognize. So we did a little Google search with some help, and it was a woman in Chicago that hit the lotto. She won like it was like $39 million.
That was a lot.
And then I was
yeah.
like, shit, $500? The lady hit the $39
Oh
million
my God.
lottery.
You're
And
lu-
all she did was give us 500 measly
You were
dollars.
so grateful.
No, I was. I'm kidding.
You're
But it
grateful.
made no sense why she gave us $500.
I
Like
would
I
love
tried to
to
thank
know-
her.
I would love to know how she came to hear the show or hear about the show, or because we're very appreciative to her and all of the folks who listen, all of the folks
Yeah.
who donate,
Yeah, all of our
of your
sponsors.
comments, the positive ones. We love them all.
Yeah, we love you guys so much that if we were here, we'd give you a 6-foot hug, you know, a fake hug like that. But I just thought that story was interesting. So thank you
Okay.
all, and we'll see you again at a later date. Bye bye.